Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of Metis Warrior here with Timothy and Alexandria.
Hello everybody.
And we'd like to start today's show off by saying that we have been hacked and compromised on multiple accounts. And so it's kind of odd what happened actually. Our accounts was first compromised and then they were hacked during that process. And so we are quickly finding out the parties that are responsible for this. And the reason why we're able to do that is because as the accounts were compromised, the hacking began. And this happened from two different places, two different spots. And so we assume that the parties don't even know each other. And so this gives us great information and great insight as we are quickly uncovering the parties responsible for both the compromising of our YouTube account, email. So yes, the email right now, because the email is compromised, we cannot use the MetisWarriors@gmail.com email because there's problems there. So there will be no email right now. We will get a new email up on the next show for you. However, the YouTube channel was also hacked and compromised, so it's down. So it will be down until we can clean it up. And so this right here, what you're listening to our show on right now, is our new platform. And I got news for the people that tried to silence the Metis Warriors. You failed, and actually we're going to double down on the stories on both parties there.
Well, folks, let's put it into perspective. The truth cannot be silenced forever, and this was really a clear attempt to silence us and to silence speakers of the truth. We all know the closer you get to the truth, the more scared and antsy the person that's involved in scams or fraud begins, and they have to do whatever it takes so the truth doesn't get out to the people.
And actually, like I said, because the compromising and the hacking occurred basically around the same time, we were able to obtain email addresses and IP addresses. And so yeah, we're very close to getting the parties responsible for this, and that's going to make one hell of a show. But right now, this is our new platform. The YouTube channel will be back up at some point, but right now this will be the place where you'll hear the Metis Warrior show.
So today's show really, and it's an alleged plot to destroy the Metis Nation of Alberta and to really take collective rights and transfer to individual rights. And you're going to hear more about that for you out there that may not be familiar what's going on, and we'll call it the battlefield in Alberta, the Metis Nation of Alberta. And before we go more into this show, you're going to see a video, and it's a shame that a Metis elder is being silenced, and apparently it's been alleged that Ron Quintal tried to sue her, and the lady in this video is Margie Wood, and she's really speaking and trying to get the message out to the people. And again, it's been alleged that Ron Quintal, well, we'll show you later in the show, attempted to sue her in an attempt to silence her.
And this has been the case for the Metis women out in Alberta, how they've been silenced, paid off, and basically intimidated into not talking. And so, as you know, it's been a couple of weeks since we released our last show. We were getting ready to release one last week, and then we found out we were compromised. Then bam, we got hacked. And so yeah, but anyway, what I'm saying to you is we've been working on this story for quite some time. Ron Quintal is invited on the show if he would like to answer the allegations, but right now we're going to let you hear this lady Margie Wood talk, and listen to her carefully, because these are the type of women that these men are trying to as the women say, they're trying to intimidate and silence them. So
suppress them.
Yeah, take a listen to the story right here.
2007 to 2017, the day that they booed me out. And Ron paid everybody off voting. And that's how we lost our voting. Because they even went to Edmonton to go voting. And Joanne Powder was working there as reception. What did they do? They pay her off $10,000 for her to keep her mouth shut. That's not fucking fair.
So what did they pay her $10,000 to keep her mouth shut for?
Because I don't know if it's true or not, but the way I heard, Dwayne wouldn't touch her private. And he's still there working in the office. And Joanne said he got a lawyer and everything, and he was going to take him to court. I don't see anything going on yet.
So how much money did he pay her?
I heard they pay her $10,000
to keep her mouth shut.
Yeah.
Oh
That's
my
what
God.
I was told. I asked Joanne to come and see me. I was going to ask her about it. She never come see me once yet today. So it must be true. Because I hear even that car she's driving, I hear they paid for a whole year for her to drive it. So I don't know if it's true or not. I'm just going by what I was told by my community. I'm the older there. I'm 70 years old. I'm Metis from South Side. Not Ernest or Teresa. Teresa don't even have M&A card, and she's still voting. I thought you're supposed to have M&A cards.
Yes, you're supposed to have an M&A card.
How I know, last time we had a meeting, I heard Teresa ask that reception. He said, "Where's those forms we filled for our M&A card?" Me and my daughter. So they don't even have their M&A card, but they still go to the meeting.
And they still get paid.
They still get paid. They still get paid honorarium and all that.
But you don't nothing. They don't give you nothing.
They give me honorarium, yeah, maybe $250 when I go meeting, yeah. But they tax me. Right now I owe income tax, $14,000. It was $20,000 I owe first time, income tax. And then I pay that off, a little bit at a time. I only get my widow survivor, $595 a month, and my union pension. That's what I'm living on right now.
I will thank you for your time, and I'll talk with you in a bit.
And I'm not bullshitting either.
I believe you.
So folks, as we know in indigenous culture, Métis culture, Métis or women have held a strong position, and it's time, women, that we take that position of power back. We cannot let these men in power intimidate us, scare us, try and silence us from speaking the truth. We cannot allow this to happen. We must keep speaking the truth. And back quickly on the subject of hackers, and apparently it's been alleged that there is, in the Metis Nation of Alberta, or in this particular story, there was a hacker that is being used in attempt to silence people. So there's been people within Métis people in Alberta that have been hacked by this individual who is, it's been alleged, that has worked for Ron Quintal. Sorry,
Ron
folks.
Quintal. And so basically, all of our shows we have, and they will be back up. And this time, we're going to make sure they're up on various platforms. So if this ever happens again, that way you'll still have our shows that you can go listen to. Yeah, it's going to take some time to build everything back up number-wise on the other platforms. This platform can, preferably, and we will get the YouTube one back up as well. But yeah, this cannot be allowed. Like I said, Ron Quintal is invited on the show to answer the allegations. These are some serious allegations, and yeah.
You know, basically, any Métis individual or anybody that's involved in a Métis organization, you have the right to ask questions, but you also have the right to receive legitimate and truthful answers to those questions. That is your right. And it really, what's unfolding here, or what, there's a battlefield that's being unfolded in Alberta. It's an alleged plot for all of those who separated from the Métis Nation of Alberta, working with the Region 1 Vice President to destroy the Métis Nation of Alberta. And this, folks, let's just put it down to simple forms. It's all about the money. It's not about collective rights. It all comes down about the money. And apparently, it's also been alleged that they're trying to set up the Métis Nation of Alberta President Audrey Poitras to take her down. In other words, it's a coup for the Métis Nation of Alberta. And another interesting fact that we're also working on pursuing is that it's been alleged that Clem Chartier has been with Ron Quintal, Dwayne Roth since the election. So we see that kind of stuff going on in the background. And Region 1 in Alberta, collectives and being transferred to individual rights really comes down to fraudulent. It is a form of fraud. And it's also been alleged, and keep this in mind, this is how dirty, down and dirty and desperate people that are perpetrating fraud or trying to keep the truth from people. It's been alleged that now private investigators are being used to protect the lies from these individuals that broke away from the Métis Nation of Alberta. That's what it's being alleged. And again,
what money? With the money that's been stolen, with the money that's been misappropriated, what money is being used to try to silence these women? This is, again, make no mistake, Métis organizations are to give money to the Métis people fairly and equally. And so when they're not doing that, this raises a huge problem when they're using this money to basically silence people that are speaking out against corruption. As you can see, Métis Warrior, we spoke out against corruption now for the last couple of years, and we were compromised and attacked all in the same time here. And people have tried to silence us, and I can guarantee you that is not going to happen, because we're doubling down, and and the thing is, we're re-releasing these videos that we had up before, which means we're going to re-share them, and people are going to re-see them. And so it was kind of stupid to actually hack into our stuff and actually try to compromise our accounts.
And you're going to see a lot of screenshots in this video. And you asked about where are they getting the money to try and silence these people. Well, it's quite simple. Apparently, numbered businesses that belong to the Métis Nation of Alberta were transferred to Fort McKay Métis, and there's letters that show that Ron Quintal tried to evict Métis from Fort McKay side and the land lease, and locals were part of the Métis Nation and Community Association. And we're going to see you're going to see in a screenshot diagram showing the Métis Nation of Alberta Community Association as well. And again, there was an attempt to kick out people from the Métis side because there is a reserve side and a Métis side. And again, the biggest issue...
But let's hold on. Let's look into Ron Quintal. He's supposed to be, he was in a position here to look after the Métis people and do the right thing for the Métis people. But instead, if you look at your screen, you're going to see eviction letters. And so now we're evicting the people that you're supposed to represent? What the hell kind of crap is this?
Well, again, the biggest issue of what we're trying to portray, and I'm sure we're going to do another show on this because there's just so much to cover, is Ron Quintal transferred collective rights to individual rights. And again, that's being very fraudulent. And we're going to show you again in that screenshot just how they did it. And it's a Region 1 screenshot. And all those names in pink are the locals for the Métis Nation of Alberta, and then transferred money. So they transferred money to the community associations. And when some of the Métis started to ask questions, they were kicked out of meetings, and they were, again, they threatened to remove the people that were challenging them. So that's some of the tactics that were used when people started to ask legitimate questions.
Exactly. And, the point of it is here. Now, when you look at collective rights versus individual rights, with a lot of the Métis organizations being corrupt and taking that money. And but when you got people like Ron Quintal sitting up there, I mean, we've got so much email, so much data, so much information on what's going on out there. There seems to be a lot of questions that need to be answered. And again, we have been working deeply in Alberta. That's one of the reasons why it's been a few weeks since we had released the show, and we have found out many, many things.
And you're going to see a screenshot here on a local letter, and the letter is dated from November 2018. And you'll see in the letter as well, apparently Glenn Tremblay was deceased for 3 to 4 years, and they took and used that local for shares. But who took the money, folks? And you'll also see in this letter again that Ron Quintal is running the local Fort McKay 63, and you'll also see in this letter local 790 Stella Kreutzer, and she's actually a First Nation. And they're saying in this particular letter, in the letter, it is asking if she can provide a letter stating that she's not First Nation. So we see a mix-up of First Nation and Métis, and they're again asking her to provide a letter stating that she is not First Nation, and this is local 790. And you'll make note at the bottom of the letter as well, it says that Ron Quintal has shares in all these companies, and there's a listing in the companies there, and it goes into these are the numbered businesses in local 63 Fort McKay. Some of them are Wood Buffalo Drilling, a bunch of other companies. You can see all that in the letter. And apparently it's been alleged that they used local 63 Fort McKay for funding, yet the stumper is the shares did not make it on the budget from 2012 to 2018, folks. So Ron Quintal,
6 years,
exactly, has shares in all these companies that you're able to see in the letter.
You want to invest in, but the thing is he using stolen or missing funds to put investments in his name? That would be a question that I would like to ask Ron on the show, and it would be something that would be beneficial for him to come on and clear up.
Yeah, but I have a question too. Again, like I said, Glenn Tremblay had been deceased for 3 to 4 years, yet they took and used that local for shares. So who took the money? And this individual was deceased. And as well, all the locals in the letter separated and were part of the tech agreement that Audrey Poitras would not sign. Diane and local signed it, and that's how they created the community association. And that was the way the money was sent to them, not to the Métis Nation of Alberta collective. So that's the way they were able to funnel the money to the community association, and then it wouldn't be sent to the Métis Nation of Alberta collective. So it was the Métis Nation of Alberta money was misused and misrepresented, and really it's alleged millions, and it has been alleged that Ron Quintal bought the land, which was a Métis co-op, and there's a Mayor, Don Scott, who sold it to Ron Quintal. So,
well, I know a question that Ron was asked that he refused to answer was, what we would like to know, what is being done for the Métis people in his area. And so he just chose not to answer that question. And so yeah, Ron, come on the show, man. We got questions. But if you're doing the right thing by the people, you should not have any problems coming on the show and answering a few questions.
Yeah, but what we're trying to portray, or what we're trying to get across to all the listeners there, and again, this is so very, very important, and we are going to continue to follow the story and uncover. So how do you take collective rights and transfer them to individual rights? So then you have the collective that is not getting anything, and select individuals are getting everything.
That's
So
a key word. Select individuals. And so that's the problem when you're trying to claim individual rights, and then it's not fair. The money's not divided fairly amongst all individual Métis. There's just for some select Métis. And here's another question for Ron. Why in the hell would you evict Métis people off the land, as we've been told? And why wouldn't you just give them an option of somewhere else to go? I don't understand this whole deal here. I don't really understand it.
because it's all about the money, it's not about the people. And it's been alleged, and we're going to further investigate that it appears that this whole separation and all this misrepresentation, it would appear, and it's been alleged, that they are being led by Clem Chartier. And we're also going to show you a letter dated September 6, 2017. And this was a letter from Maurice Law. It's a law firm to Marge Wood again, threatening to sue her, Ron Quintal, about the video that we showed you at the beginning of the show. So
you're threatening to sue a Metis elder. This is the problem here.
Yeah, so Ron Quintal is threatening to sue a Métis elder, and she's just trying to speak to let everybody know what's going on.
So do we have the proof of that he threatened to sue her?
We're going to show the letter. We have the letter.
Okay, so here's the letter of where
Dated September 6, 2017.
So where he's threatening to sue this Métis elder. And what we like to do is always offer proof. And if you always watch our videos, you'll see in the screenshots proof of a lot of things that we say. And so, that's what we stand on. We do a lot of investigative work, and we've been in the Alberta area, not just in Fort McKay area, but we've been in the Alberta area looking at different organizations as well, but we especially paying attention to this Ron Quintal story, because there's so much allegations and so much criminal acts that seem to be going on there.
And the thing is, and you'll see a screenshot of this as well, you could see why Ron Quintal would want this video to be removed, because you'll see here, this was a Facebook video where the video had reached 11,228 people. By God, you can see why Ron wouldn't want that video to be continuing on the page.
But for this Métis elder, let's make that video reach 100,000 people in this video. Share the hell out of this video. I want people to hear this Métis elder talk.
And you know what? Interesting fact, and we're going to be digging more into this. Maurice Law, the law firm, Dwayne Roth, that's his stepson's law firm. So we're going to be looking into Dwayne Roth's stepson's law firm that Ron Quintal is using to try and silence these people from coming forward. So again, it's interesting.
And this is what people are telling us. So again, what we want to make it clear that the invitation's been extended to Ron Quintal to come on to the show. Now, we have gathered strong evidence of wrongdoing in the area that Ron is in. And so we are still working on compiling that show. But what I would like to tell everybody is we've given Ron Quintal an invitation to come on and answer all of these allegations. But one of the things that he should be advised of is we got a hell of a lot of people saying the same things, and we got a hell of a lot of evidence that proves a lot of these people's points.
And Ron Quintal, one of the questions that the Métis people in Alberta wanted to know, and you're more than welcome again to come on the show, they would like to know who is the private investigator from Calgary that is, it's been alleged, being used against the provincial president, the women that in regards to Dwayne Roth and his own ex-wife. So it's been alleged, but that's a question that was posed to us to put it out to Ron if he cared to answer. And again, even the women that has put charges against Dwayne Roth, the same private investigator from Calgary apparently is involved, and it's being alleged all that as well.
Ron, are you a colonialist or are you a Métis? What are you? That's what I'd like to know. What are you? Because, I mean, why would you use colonial systems and colonial attacks against the Métis people? That is the question that we here at Métis Warrior have for you. And if you do come on our show, that is a question that I will ask you.
And you know what? Again, we did speak about the eviction letters, and we're gonna show you a screenshot from Dwayne Roth, and you can read it yourself. And part of it, he says, part of self-government is having the duty to manage your own affairs. And he's talking about the evictions in this particular letter, and he mentions a Yvonne Shot is saying is no longer Métis. Well, how can you be Métis and then you're no longer Métis? So Dwayne Roth, can you explain that? And this is right from your own mouth. At the bottom of the screenshot, Dwayne Roth says Yvonne Shot is no longer Métis. How does that work? Maybe we should have Dwayne on the throw and say, minds, you know, how does this work? That you know, and that's pertaining to Métis evictions. And a little bit of history for you.
Nepotism there too.
Exactly. So a little bit of history for you out there that are listening that are not familiar with what's playing out, or maybe the alleged attempted coup in Alberta. The CEO, Dwayne Roth, was stepping away from Fort McKay Métis Group July 25th, 2020. Then July 29th, 2020, Dwayne Roth was facing 2 counts of sexual assault, and Ron Quintal has been the president of Fort McKay Métis since 2005. So if you don't know who those players are, we gave you a little bit of information. It's interesting to know and to see how this all plays out. In 2019, the Court of Queen's bench dismissed a lawsuit from Fort McKay Métis, that they had a lawsuit against the Metis Nation of Alberta, and Fort McKay Métis had asked the court to declare its sole representative of the people, Métis people, in Fort McKay. So again, that was part of the power play where Ron Quintal wanted to go to court and say that the Metis Nation of Alberta had we're not going to represent the people in Fort McKay anymore.
I think it's fair to say that it seems like they have a real issue with women.
Well, you know what? Women have been suppressed, especially Métis women. We have men of power, position, have the capability of having taxpayer money to throw at all these lawsuits, hire private investigators, because the truth is very powerful. And when people unite and band together and speak the truth, the corrupt leaders, really, their kingdom of corruption begins to crumble, and they lose control of the people and the strong arm tactics that they're using over the people, where again you're nothing but a number to the government, because it's a number where they're going to get funding. They don't care about you as a Métis person, they just care that you represent a dollar sign for funding, folks.
And I say that because the female president of the MNA, again, the word female there. But yeah, and so I don't believe in mistreating our elders, and I think that the one thing that should be done is they should be able to speak, and the people within our community should be able to handle this and should be able to make the proper decisions. And it just seems like there's a hell of a lot of bad things going on there.
Well, you know, it's really sad when you have a Métis elder. There's a video where she's expressing her feelings about a current situation that's going down, and right away Ron Quintal gets Maurice Law involved, and they threaten to sue her about the video where she's expressing what's happening in her community. It's stunning that a Métis elder would be treated. I think maybe
It's
Ron
disgusting.
Quintal and Dwayne Roth and all these people, maybe you should sit with an elder for a while and learn respect and maybe relearn your Métis culture, because you certainly do not know how to treat a Métis elder, and you certainly do not know how to treat Métis women.
Well, and here's the thing. Again, Ron Quintal, you're invited onto the show to answer the questions. And again, they're going to be difficult questions for you to answer, I'm quite sure. But or maybe they're not, because if you've done nothing wrong, it should be very easy to come on the show, answer the questions. Now, let's see if you want to come on. But
and you know what? Stop using alleged hackers to silence people. Stop using taxpayer money to have these lawsuits to attempt to silence people. Let's go back to the way we really should be. You really have forgotten who you are as a Métis, and you bring shame
Greed.
on the Métis. It's greed. You bring shame on the Métis people. And again, it's really an alleged plot to destroy the Métis Nation of Alberta, take collective rights and transfer to individual rights. Again, it's all about greed, control, and having all your sticky fingers in the money pot.
yeah, now we've shown you a lot of evidence in this video. And, you know, unfortunately, again, our platforms, our emails have been hacked and compromised. So the YouTube channel is down right now, temporarily. But this is the new platform, and we're going to back it up with even more platforms. So for the individuals who seemingly do not even know each other was doing this around the same time, y'all kind of were, by doing it at the same time, it was able to expose some of the geography of the locations of the people and the emails and the IP addresses. And so we're very close to solving this mystery. And that's going to make one hell of a show. But it was dumb to try to silence Métis Warrior, because by putting this stuff, our old stuff up on the new platforms, guess what we're doing?
We can reshare it.
Yes, I mean, people are going to see it all over again. So that was pretty stupid.
Actually, it worked to our benefit. And again, Métis women, stay strong. Métis women, keep speaking the truth. We cannot allow these men to silence us.
That's it for me.
Take care.